Hi everyone, Derek Cooper here. Today I want to talk to you a little bit about one of the misconceptions that I see about the golf swing, and that is that the head should stay perfectly still during the backswing and then back into impact. I see players trying to keep their head too still. It gets their body out of position and makes it extremely difficult for them to make an athletic move and strong move through the golf ball. In the 3D research that I've seen, the head moves anywhere between 1 inch to 3 inches off the golf ball or away from its starting position. And I'm going to show you today why we need to do that and how it's going to set you up into a better position to be able to move the club back into the golf ball consistently. So when players are trying to keep their head perfectly still during the backswing, it makes it extremely difficult for them to move the body correctly so that then they're in a position to be able to move back down through impact in an aggressive fashion. So what we tend to see is players will get into a nice address position, they try to keep their head perfectly still, and they end up doing this sort of thing. So in their efforts to keep their head still, there's no head rotation. So during the backswing, the head should actually rotate very slightly to the right or away from the ball. The idea is that at address, I'm looking at the golf ball, down my nose at the ball, head fairly square. Then when I turn to the backswing, my head should be rotating very, very slightly. So now I'm looking more out of the corner of my eye at the golf ball. I need the head to rotate because it makes it much, much easier for me to then rotate my upper body. In letting that head rotate, I'm now letting it also move very slightly to the right so that when I'm at the top of the backswing here, I'm definitely a little more right than where I was at address. Like I said earlier, the 3D research I've seen suggests that the head movement amongst the better players is anywhere between 1 to 3 inches. How much you move is going to be dependent on your own levels of flexibility and what you're trying to accomplish with your own swing. But the main thing I want to get across to you today is that the head should not be staying still. The other error I see players make when they're trying to keep their head still is they actually get the head to go too much in this direction. So when I set up at address, my body is angled very slightly away from the golf ball. We call this spine tilt. So I'm tilted slightly to the right. I want to maintain that spine tilt throughout my swing. So you can see when I'm here, my body is still tilted slightly to the right. With players that are trying to keep their head still, they lose that tilt, and then when they try to make their downswing, they have to recapture it again, and it's extremely difficult to do that with any consistency. It's also very difficult to generate any power from there. So when you're out practicing next, doing this with a shadow works really well, but essentially what you're looking to do is you want to let your head move very slightly to the right so that at the top of the backswing, your head's more over the inside of your right foot. So you'll see here I go from address, head moves very slightly to the right, and if I drop this club off my nose, you can see I've now got my head over the inside of my trail foot. Body angles are much better. And from that backswing position, I can make a nice aggressive move into the downswing to be able to compress the ball. So when you're out practicing next, don't keep your head still. Allow the head to move slightly to the right if you're right-handed. Also let your head rotate a little bit. It'll make the turn much easier, get your body angles better, and you'll be able to generate much more club head speed and consistency back through impact.